The Epilogue Cabin. "2023. New people. Do you mind? I'm a hugger," Anna asked as she made her way from her car. "Not at all," I said well enough in advance for us to figure out how our arms would wrap around each other. "This is great. I haven't left Sacramento since I started this job. I love all the trees. This is a great park," she said. "Yeah, I like this one okay. Too bad the park in Nevada City is being overrun by a music festival. I like it better over there," I told Anna in an attempt to put a higher value on a different grove of trees. "You won't see me complaining. Should we have a seat?" Not long after starting my peer support job for the county, I filled out a survey for Peer Talk, one of California's longest-running peer organizations. It was quickly followed by a request to apply to become my region's representative on a peer advocacy council. I didn't know about any of this, but my boss told me to fill it out anyways, so I did, immediately forgetting all about it. A month later, I got an email that burst with colored confetti at the word congratulations. I didn't know what to expect. I just knew it would involve more learning. "I'm glad you agreed to meet me. I'm sorry it's taken so long for me to get back to you," Anna started to say as we settled into a park bench. "Oh, it's fine. I'm not sure what I'm trying to get out of this book," I said as I started to prepare for whatever the upcoming review may be. I don't mince words, but I loved it. I almost read it in one sitting. I had 30 pages left and it was 3 a.m. when I put it down, but I finished it over breakfast, Anna said very directly. "Really?" I asked. "Yes, it's quite an achievement. To survive all of that and now be on the other side working with consumers? Making all this art and crafting a narrative that is compelling and as complex as the situation really is. Well, there's nothing else like it," Anna confidently told me. "That's so nice to hear. It's not the reality I live in, but it's nice to hear," I countered. "Really? What was your take on it?" she asked. "People just want me to move on. I don't see any support. I don't know what to even hope for. It just seems like it's all been an exercise of snuffing out the dying embers of my artistic ego. I just feel tired," I explained. No, it's not like that. Maybe here in Nevada County, but not the rest of the world, not even in Sacramento 50 miles away. Yours is a story of hope. People need that right now." My year as a Peer Talk advocate ended with a conference at their office in Sacramento. As their policy director, Anna opened up the meeting with an inspired speech about the work that needs to be done statewide. The next 7 hours were a pressure cooker of passionate ideas and advocates brainstorming their issues furiously. To me, it was just as chaotic as being back at the National Hotel Bar in Nevada City on Christmas Eve. As the event drew to a close, the moderator noticed I'd been silent the whole time and gave me the floor. I told the group if we can connect the public to our stories, we'd have the chance to convert them to our causes much faster than facts and details can. I mentioned that I had a series of paintings on my phone that tell my story, and if anyone was interested afterwards, I'd be happy to share. I mentioned I had a book too. "I have to ask, can I get a copy of your book?" Anna said with a wry smile on her face after showing her my paintings. "I've never heard anyone tell this story." The crack of a softball bat nearby brought me back to the present moment in the park with Anna. After her short review of Mosaic of Planes, she dug in her purse as I sat with the idea that it was good. People always say nice things to your face. I've seen too much to blindly accept praise, but it must be good if she drove all the way up here to say so. Anna stopped rummaging and pulled out a blue container. "I'm trying to quit, but this job is so stressful." Anna took a small bite out of a nicotine tablet. "What I really want to know is what was the state hospital like?" "You don't like how I described it in the book?" I asked. "No," Anna flat out told me. "What was wrong with it?" "Listen, I work in politics. I can tell your book carefully dances around sensitive issues. You've done a good job with that. You've had to. I just want to hear it from you. Between us, what was the hospital really like?" "I know you've got stories," she probed. Seeing that Anna drove an hour for this conversation, I opened up about the depth of pain in the state hospital. Anna was trying to learn as much as she could about the different situations California mental health consumers can find themselves in. "So the book wraps up with you leaving the courthouse. When was that?" she asked. Let's see, May of 2022, I told her. "What's happened to you since then?" Anna inquired. It's kind of a bummer story. Do you really want to hear it? I said. Your whole story is full of bummers. I can handle it, Anna told me as she took another bite of her tablet. Well, the day after I was restored to sanity, I tested positive with COVID for the first time. Then so did my dad and Sandy. My dad got hit really hard. We'd been noticing the onset of dementia for a couple years, but after having COVID, his mind was gone. La La Land. We spent a rough week with him at home, thinking after he got better from COVID, his mind would come back too, but each day got worse. He was trying to climb the furniture in his bedroom, so we took it all out and put a mattress on the floor. He wouldn't sleep. He wouldn't eat. He would just talk gibberish. Once we took him to the hospital, they told us he had pneumonia. He was quickly on death's door. I braced myself to lose him, but his body bounced back. His mind stayed elsewhere. They sent him to an assisted living center in Sacramento. My sisters and I would visit often with something good to eat. We could tell he remembered us, but he made little sense and was frustrated. He escaped the facility a number of times. We'd get a call. Your dad found his way out again. We'll let you know when he turns up. It was horrible thinking of him wandering around Sacramento without his wits and senses. He was at the assisted living house for about a year before he died. I didn't know COVID could do that, Anna said after a pause for me to collect myself. I didn't either, I replied. Okay, that's enough of that story. I raised my arms in a stretch as Anna checked her phone. After updating herself on who had been texting, Anna followed with the next question. Can we get some food? Are we anywhere near civilization, or is this town just trees? Anna and I hit it off right away. Our first month together was great, but things fell apart quickly thereafter. As we evaluated parting ways, Anna made it clear that I needed to process my experience deeper. With this as the last productive word between us, our time together ended. Enter Charles. When I got my county peer support job, I had to change all of my mental health providers due to a conflict of interests. My previous therapist was now my boss, and she said Charles was the only person she'd trust me with. Charles was quickly pleasant and personable, and I could tell he'd seen about everything there was to see as a therapist, and I wondered if he'd ever worked with anyone in my situation. Charles had been one of the clinical supervisors at behavioral health before I got hired on. He was very knowledgeable about the world I was navigating, and we spent a decent amount of time talking about that. He was in high demand as a therapist. That was fine with me. I wasn't excited about starting over with someone new. We met once a month for the first year and slowly circled the drain of the black hole that was my guilt, shame, and remorse. But after the breakup with Anna, I decided to take her advice and go deeper. Who does that really? I said again in frustration. What? Break up in a text? She does apparently. But the good news is you've learned that about her and you don't have to do this again, Charles replied in a session. I've been thinking about the angst I bring to everything. Her words, not mine. I just assume I'm in the best shape that I can be after everything that's happened. But I get all this pressure to be a nice, new, shiny, happy person. Like that's what the hospital's supposed to churn out. It's too unrealistic, I rambled. No, you can be more. I wasn't sure you were ready to be. I can work with you on this. It won't be fun. We'll have to go to some dark places, Charles calmly explained. I didn't know that was an option. What, do we need to set up another appointment for this kind of work? I asked. No, we can start right now, if you really want to, Charles offered. Okay, but I'm doing this for me, not for her. I really want to be in a better place the next time I meet someone, I explained without seeing the contradiction. Great. Okay, see, sit back in your chair and take a deep breath. Relax. Try not to think about anything but this moment. Not what you have to do after our session, not what you're going to have for lunch. Just sit there and exist for a minute. So I did. Now see, let's set our intentions. What are we trying to accomplish? Charles directed. I'd like to process deeper levels of my guilt, shame, and remorse, I exclaimed. Okay, now that we're relaxed and not attached to the outcomes of our normal day, what comes to mind? Charles lightly knocked over the first domino. My friend's daughter. She's older now. He told me she started playing music, I answered. Okay, we acknowledge that. What comes next? Charles asked. I told a joke to Starla a few weeks ago. She didn't think it was funny. I shouldn't have said that, I told him. Okay, we acknowledge that too. After a second, tell me what comes next, Charles asked again. I see my reflection. I've got a rash all over my eyes. I remember this. I'm back in the jail cell. I look so different. I look like I'm on the verge of tears and could rip the sink out of the wall at the same time, I told Charles, intently listening comfortably from his seat. Yes, this is who we've come for. This version of you and all of this pain. Tell me, can you feel what he's feeling? Charles asked. Kind of. I mean, I don't want to. He scares me. I know he feels hopeless. I don't want to feel that way again, I said. That's all right. I don't want you to do anything you're not ready to do. But you did bring him here. Give him a chance to express why he came. Can you do that? Charles asked kindly. I can. Wow. I feel the tension in my shoulders. I feel the need to brush away these flaky scabs on my eyelid. I feel the painful pink raw skin beneath. I just want to scream. I just want my hour in the day room so I can microwave a hot cup of coffee and take a hot shower. I know the water will burn my eyelids, but I'm tired of being cold in my cell. I hate it. The sweatshirt they gave me doesn't fit. It's better to just use it as a pillow and cower under the itchy wool blanket than to be stuffed into that tight sweatshirt. It makes me feel like my heart is going to burst. What else are you feeling when you look at him? Charles probed. He's angry. He's confused. He won't pray after that man died. He wants to destroy things. He wants the red button for all the nukes in the world so he can push it with glee that there won't be anyone around to remember him and what he's done. He's so tired. I can tell he's in extra pain just seeing me in his eyes. He knows that a life like mine will never be possible, I explained. Okay, see, since we're here, how can we help him? If you can imagine a doorway for him, where does he want to go? Charles offered a solution. A cabin in the woods, with trees and birds, maybe a view of a snow-covered mountain, I answered. Great. Can you grab his hand? Can you lead him through the door into the cabin? He asked. I can. Okay, he's in, I said. What is he doing now? Charles wondered after the intensity of my breathing paused. He laid down on the couch in front of the fire. He's asleep already. He doesn't look angry anymore. I painted Charles the vision in my mind. Great, C. Is there a blanket you can put over him? We're going to leave him now, and we want to make sure he's warm and taken care of, Charles told me to end the experience. Over the next handful of sessions, Charles and I found many versions of myself still in pain and trapped by guilt, shame, and remorse. They were all helped out of their situations and brought to the cabin as well. Once collected, Charles asked a new question. Can you think of an element of nature to help these guys get rid of all the pain inside? Yes. Water. Let's take him to the ocean. After this decree, I vividly watched all of the versions of myself I'd collected rush out of the cabin onto a beach and into the waves of the Pacific Ocean. As the waves crashed over them, I saw the dark roots of the sludge inside start to wash away. 2024. Vague details. At that moment, I felt freed. Anna and I reconciled. She could tell I was different, but after a few more months, other issues arose and we parted ways again. Starla was done looking out at the Sierra Nevada mountains. She needed a change, and after months of processing our mom and dad's belongings, and then a seemingly endless supply of boxes from our childhood, my sister's and my life was reduced to its essentials and the house was put on the market. A buyer was soon interested, and Whisper and I were lucky to find a cabin in Nevada City to start our next chapter. 2025. It surprises me that I never mentioned where my art comes from till now. The time seemed right to release this book. I gave it a solid effort, but I knew with my current resources it was going to take a while to see what could come from it. The managers at work became aware and interested in my presentation. They recommended me to an agency that certifies peer support and other California state-mandated behavioral health issues to present for their staff retreat in Monterey. This led to another presentation in front of 90 behavioral health leaders from across the state. As I was being introduced, I got the flash. Charles had been annoying me. He kept bringing it up. So what I don't understand is, why haven't you painted the offense? Charles asked in a session. I did. It's the blue one where he grabs my arm, I told him in protest. No, that's a small detail of it. Come on, you've painted 25 paintings about this topic, and you stop right before the most important part? Charles argued. I don't think people can handle it, I defended myself. No, I don't think you can handle it. People watch violent movies and video games every day. People can handle what you've done. I think there's a part of you that still wants to hide this. Charles said this much kinder than the written word suggests. You've got a point, but I haven't seen the flash. All of my paintings start out with a quick flash in my mind. My paintings never turn out good if there's no flash, I explained. Well, how do you get the flash? Charles asked with curiosity. I don't know. It's the mystical part of my life as an artist. The part I don't get to control, the part I don't fight. But if I ever do get the flash of my offense, I'll paint whatever I see, I said to Charles to move things along. A week had passed since I saw the flash before my last presentation. On Monday morning, I woke up in a mood. When I got home from work, I went straight to bed. Tuesday was worse. Somehow I made it through the motions at work before retreating to my bed after filling Whisper's food bowl and filling my belly. On Wednesday, I had an online meeting at work and I couldn't hide what I was feeling anymore. One of the managers interrupted the call to stop and ask if I was doing all right, but I wasn't. I had no idea what was going wrong. I just knew at that moment I didn't care if I lived or died. This sounds rough. See, have you eaten today? Let's start with that, Starla said from her new home 35 miles away. Not really. I was going to pick up some Indian food but ended up back in bed after work, I explained. What, if anything, caused this? Starla started the investigation. The best way I can explain it is the first law of thermodynamics, I said lifelessly. I'm sorry, I've forgotten that one, Starla answered. Energy cannot be destroyed, it can only be converted. My presentation stirs up all kinds of energy in me. I don't know why, but it's trying to make me feel this right now. If this is going to be the outcome of doing these presentations, I'm not sure if I should be pursuing them further. I hope there's some good coming from them, but right now, they're really costing me. I barked at Starla, forgetting she was graciously helping me. I just need to know you're going to be safe tonight, Starla pleaded. I am. It's more of an ambivalence to death than a call to action, I reassured her. Okay, go get some food. That's an order, soldier. The next morning, I woke up with my alarm and immediately understood what was going on. I had seen the flash 2 weeks earlier and had forgotten all about it. Now it was time to capture what the guilt, shame, and remorse looked like. I got my easel out of storage and bought a 40 by 30 canvas after work. Now I was all set up when I got home Friday with my favorite burrito in hand. I ate peacefully as I stared at the blank canvas, wondering what the experience had in store for me. The hardest part was finding a pencil to start the sketch and restarting side A of the Sigaros album parentheses every 20 minutes. Once I divided up the sections and crafted the subject's form, my tubes of acrylic paint emerged. 3.5 hours later, it was complete. I sat in awe of this painting, the experience in discovering it, and the full journey to arrive at this point of my life. The idea of what comes next didn't matter. I found a new peace. I hope you find these 3 additional stories helpful. It takes a lot of time and work to find healing, but I found it's always worth the effort and investment. If in reading my story, you feel sorry for me that I had to experience so much pain to arrive at what might seem to be a return to something normal, I apologize and have missed the mark that I aimed for. My lesson has been simple. I am blessed to have a life on this earth, and in the depths of my suffering, I found a better understanding of myself and the things in my life that matter most. Maybe this is best summed up in a lyric to a song I wrote in Napa State Hospital called All of All. Here's what I think of the fire that tests me. I would have chosen other ways, but life sure got my attention. I haven't come this far with my art and story to just walk away without giving you the opportunity to see this artistic resolution. I'm putting a great new picture of Whisper on the next page. She's such a joy to me. You can leave on that note and I wouldn't fault you anything if you did. On the last page will simply be my reenactment of the worst moment of my life. Charles thinks you can handle it. But the kinship I feel with you, a reader that's made it this far, is to allow you to just walk away with this darling shot of Whisper and leave the memory of what happened on the Alta Sierra Airport alone with me. This has been Mosaic of Planes. Copyright 2026, Sea Stoltzner, narrated by Sea Stoltzner.